Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's announcement, and thank you to the Alberta Ballet for that beautiful performance. Now I'd like to welcome Minister Furr up to the podium to get us started.
Well, thank you, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. It is fantastic to be joined by talented Alberta artists and art organizations for this exciting announcement today, and what an absolutely beautiful and stunning way to start us off with that extraordinary performance by Alberta Ballet. The arts are an essential contributor to the quality of life of Albertans. They bring communities together, preserve and share our stories, and reflect the creativity and vision that define who we are. They also support thousands of jobs and continue to significantly contribute to our economy while helping Alberta shine on the world stage. That's why I'm happy to share with you today that through Budget 2025, Alberta's government is increasing our investment in the arts to more than $36 million, including a responsible, steady $4.5 million increase for the Alberta Foundation for the Arts, the AFA. This is part of our multi-year commitment that will grow AFA funding to a record-breaking amount of over $43 million annually by 2027. The AFA plays a vital role in sustaining our province's cultural vibrancy by supporting both individual artists and art organizations. They provide artists access to resources that help them pursue meaningful work, grow their careers, and bring their visions to life. Today, the AFA has already invested $19.1 million in grant funding, supporting over 200 arts organizations and nearly 200 individual artists. This long-term responsible investment helps build a strong and sustainable arts sector for years to come. As Minister of Arts, Culture, and Status of Women, I have seen firsthand the incredible impact of these investments and of the AFA on organizations, artists, communities, and the greater cultural fabric of Alberta. We know Alberta's arts organizations have faced challenges over the past few years, and that's why our government is focused on continuing to help the arts sector recover, rebuild, and thrive. The $4.5 million increase will help organizations expand programming and deliver even more world-class experiences. By the end of our 3-year commitment, AFA funding will reach the highest level of funding in Alberta's history, further strengthening direct support for artists and expanding access to the arts across the province. The value of the arts goes beyond inspiration, it's also economic. Each year, the visual and applied arts and live performance industries contribute over $1.3 billion in GDP and employ over 18,000 Albertans. By expanding grant opportunities for artists and organizations, we are building an arts sector that can thrive, meaning more jobs, more programming, and more opportunities for artists to succeed right here at home. We also recognize the unique rewards and challenges of building a career in the arts. The arts are an essential part of our cultural identity. Part of my ministry's work is to shine a light on Alberta's incredible arts and its dedicated organizations, supporting them in all aspects of their work so they can continue to create, inspire, and lead. And with this funding, we're continuing to do just that. Across Alberta, the arts are everywhere, from bronze statues in town squares or from murals on buildings, to the songs of street performers and the magic captured in a single photo. Art surrounds us, it connects us, and it belongs to all of us. Funding the arts is about building a province where creativity is celebrated, stories are shared, and every community can flourish. And that's why Alberta's government is proud to champion the arts and the cultural industries that make our province stronger, brighter, and build community. I want to thank all the incredible organizations giving Albertans opportunities to experience inspiring works of art every day. And to those who love and support the arts, I encourage you to keep showing up. Your support matters. When we invest in the arts, we are making life better for our friends, families, neighbors, and all Albertans. So, With that, I would like to welcome to the podium Cynthia Moore, Chair of the Alberta Foundation for the Arts.
Thank you, Minister Furr, and thank you for your continued championing of the cultural sector in Alberta. We are very lucky to have you as our chief advocate. At the Alberta Foundation for the Arts, we see advocating for the arts sector as one of our primary responsibilities. Now, aren't we lucky to have witnessed such a beautiful performance by the dancers from Alberta Ballet? I was lucky enough to be in this very theater when it was performed earlier this year. Thank you to the dancers for being with us today. I am especially looking forward to Ukrainian Shumka dancers' performance at the end of this announcement. The AFA is proud to support both organizations through our operating grant programs. As a result of the continued additional support from the Alberta government mentioned by Minister Furr, the AFA is able to significantly impact more than, not 200 organizations, Minister, 400 organizations. 400 Alberta organizations this year. We are proud to say that our total spending allocated to operational and project grants for organizations will increase by 10%. We were also proud to support over 700 individual artists last year. The increased funding for individual artists announced last year is being maintained. Now tonight, the Calgary Folk Fest kicks off in Princess Island Park and runs until Sunday. More than 50,000 people are expected to attend. The Folk Fest is one of the many AFA-funded arts organizations that provide access to incredible art experiences for Albertans. I will be there, as I imagine many of you will be too. The AFA funds organizations that produce large festivals through its major arts presenters operating grant. In June, we approved more than $1.8 million in grants through this program, another increase of 10%, to help ensure Albertans can continue to access large-scale public presentations. The AFA supports arts organizations large and small across the province. The AFA recognizes the importance of community arts and funds arts organizations that provide arts programs and services to communities that may be underserved, where it is not as easy to see the arts. Part of the AFA's mandate in the AFA Act is to provide persons and organizations with the opportunity to participate in the arts in Alberta, which means it is as important to the AFA that Albertans are doing art as well as experiencing art. If you belong to a pottery arts guild, a singing choir, or a social dance club, the AFA's 10% increase in funding may apply to your organization too. AFA-funded arts organizations generate job opportunities for artists and Alberta workers. Incredible performances like the Alberta Ballet and the upcoming Ukrainian Shumka dancers require a lot of work behind the scenes, which we all know is expensive. Organizations provide the administration and the artistic infrastructure to make a beautiful performance happen, including hiring artists. The AFA values the work arts organizations do and what they bring to Alberta's economy, society, and quality of life. And that's why we are increasing our support for them this year. We will continue to advocate, engage, and provide access to as many artists and arts organizations as possible, which benefits all Albertans. Now it's my pleasure to introduce a very good friend of mine and the CEO of Alberta Ballet, Chris George.
Thank you, Cynthia. It's an honor for Alberta Ballet to be a part of today's event. Before we begin, I'd like to thank Minister Furr for your leadership and for the depth of engagement you've shown Alberta's arts sector. You are a true champion, not only for Alberta Ballet, but for arts organizations throughout Alberta. We're grateful for your partnership and for your recognition that the arts strengthen our province, enriching not just Calgary and Edmonton, but the cultural and economic life of cities and towns across Alberta. That's a responsibility Alberta Ballet takes seriously. And thank you to Cynthia Moore, Jeff Brinton, and the entire team at the Alberta Foundation for the Arts. Your leadership and vision provide essential support for our mission, sharing dance in ways that have real impact in the lives of Albertans. The Alberta Foundation for the Arts is Alberta Ballet's largest operational funder. This support is vital to all we do, from our main stage performances to our professional school to our community-based programming. Importantly, the AFA's community-derived revenue model is among the most effective in Canada, delivering essential, unbiased, and equitable funding that allows organizations like ours to meet the needs of diverse communities across the province. This investment also sustains meaningful employment for artists every year. With this support, we present a full main stage season in both Edmonton and Calgary, over 60 performances annually, featuring international choreographers, world-class productions, and acclaimed designers. But Alberta Ballet is more than performances. Our Alberta Ballet School, a full-time academic and artistic training program for students grades 7 to 12, also benefits directly from this funding. Each year, we welcome over 90 students from Alberta, across Canada, and around the world. They train here in Calgary, earning their high school diploma while preparing for careers in ballet. Next year, our students will come from Asia, Europe, Australia, the US, and across Canada. Their presence enriches the city, both culturally and economically, and builds a pipeline of talent for Alberta's arts ecosystem. The professionals who graduate from Alberta Ballet School carry Alberta's reputation for artistic excellence around the world. And while we have international reach, our roots are firmly local. We're Alberta's ballet company, and we're committed to being present in communities across this province. Next year, we'll provide 3,000 sponsored tickets through partnerships with immigrant-serving agencies, healthcare providers, and youth programs. We'll offer beginner dance programs to up to 1,500 youth in 9 Alberta communities, from Medicine Hat to Red Deer, Grand Prairie to Fort McMurray, and across the Peace region. We're hiring local ballet teachers in cities like Fort McMurray and Medicine Hat, and we're expanding our ballet and powwow program in partnership with the Indigenous Sport Council of Alberta, responding directly to community requests for greater access. These are ambitious goals. They expand access, strengthen community connections, and make Alberta stronger. But sustaining them requires thoughtful, long-term investment. This funding sets a standard and encourages others, both public and private, to invest in the arts. We truly could not do this work without the support of the Alberta Foundation for the Arts and the Ministry of Arts, Culture, and Status of Women. Thank you for believing in the power of arts to build a vibrant, connected Alberta. We're excited to keep building this future together. It's now my pleasure to invite Tasha Arsiak, I think I butchered that, Artistic Director of Canada's Ukrainian Shumka Dancers, to share a few remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Minister Furr, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. On behalf of the Ukrainian Shumka dancers, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Government of Alberta and the Alberta Foundation for the Arts. Your continued support is a vital part of sustaining the arts in this province, and today's announcement of a 10% increase in funding is both welcome and deeply appreciated. For Shumka, this means more than just financial support. It's an investment in creativity, in cultural heritage, and the people who bring stories to life through dance. This additional funding allows us to expand our outreach programs, enhance training for our dancers, support new choreographic work, and to continue offering meaningful opportunities to emerging and established artists across the province. It strengthens our ability to share Ukrainian culture with wider audiences and to engage Albertans of all backgrounds through the performance, education, and community engagement, especially through our upcoming tour of Canada's Ukrainian Nutcracker this winter. As we look ahead, this support ensures that the legacy of Shumka, more than 60 years strong, continues to evolve and inspire future generations. Thank you once again for believing in the power of arts and for recognizing the value that organizations like ours bring to the cultural fabric of Alberta. We are honored to be a resident company of the Northern Jubilee Auditorium and part of Alberta's vibrant and resilient arts community. Together with your support, we continue to prove that dance is not only an art form, it's a bridge between generations, cultures, and communities. Thank you. Shumka will be presenting an all-male dance inspired by the Roma people with a unique gypsy feel. Verbunk is choreographed by Shumka collaborator and honored artist of Ukraine, Maxim Karpenko, with each dancer trying to outdo his counterparts. It is an audience favorite everywhere it's performed. Ladies and gentlemen, Shumka's Verbunk.
Thank you for that amazing display of Ukrainian dance, and that will bring us to the end of the formal portion of our news conference. Now we're going to be moving to the media question and answer portion. It will be one question and one follow-up. I ask that media identify yourselves and your outlet and let us know to whom you'll be directing your question. If you cannot exit your seat from where you're sitting, please just raise your hand and we have a microphone that can be passed to you as well. And we'll start in the room and see if we have any questions before we go to the line.
Hi, I'm Brett Nichols from the Calgary Herald. You mentioned that the sector has faced challenges recently. Would you mind expanding on some of the challenges that it has faced?
Thanks for the question, Brett. So yeah, in arts and arts organizations and culture, there's always a need for more support in terms of the funding we provide, in terms of making sure that artists thrive, that arts organizations thrive. We want to be able to make sure that artists of any type, of any genre that want to call Calgary or Edmonton or anywhere in Alberta home can stay here, can have successful careers, and be here and be able to do their passion and their skill full-time if that's what they want to do. And that's why increased funding to organizations like the Alberta Foundation for the Arts to be able to provide more funding to individual artists and arts organizations helps support that and helps make sure that those individual artists and larger organizations can thrive in Alberta, and those arts organizations and artists can stay here and make a living here.
Thank you.
If there are no more questions in the room, I'll go to operator to see if anyone's on the line. Okay, so it looks like we have no more questions today. I want to thank everyone for joining us, and that will be the end of our announcement. Thank you.